firms up. Nigerian athletes square up with Kenyan at inaugural ECOWAS Abuja International Marathon. Thanks a lot for staying tuned to the news. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the alleged execution of 4 AIDS workers by terrorists in northeastern parts of Nigeria. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says the president is saddened by the development and commiserates with the family and loved ones of the aid workers who had offered themselves to serve humanity at grave risk. The statement says the aid workers were abducted near Damasak, Borno State since July and had since been held despite effort to secure their release till their alleged execution. The president reassures Nigerians that his administration is resolved to beat evil in the country and remain unrelenting till it is achieved. He urged all insurgents once again to lay down their arms and rejoin decent humanity. The United Nations Women, in collaboration with Food and Agriculture Organization, has launched a flagship program on climate-smart agriculture. The pilot scheme of the program is designed to provide technical support and inputs for vulnerable women in 8 states with a budget of $40 million. Musa Babali reports that the 4-year program was launched in Minna, Niger State.
Shea butter is a multi-billion-dollar value chain, with Niger State leading in its production. Women are the major key players in the shea nut value chain in the state. They pick the nut, process it, and at the same time market it. But the major concern is the return of investment, which is considered as insignificant considering the labor associated with the production.
And the buyers we have, they buy it very cheap from the women. And these women work hard to do these things. But the men buy them very cheap and go and sell it expensive.
And these major issues identified by United Nations Women necessitated the inclusion of shea butter in the economic support program.
So it's about substituting technology for labor on the one hand. It's about creating better connection between the women who are in shea nut value chain with the banks and other service providers.
We want to assure them that we give all our cooperation and all that needs to be done so that our women can benefit.
The program is designed to enhance the capacity of the women through climate resilient in their businesses.
On the part of government, we are looking at how we are going to promote, the planting of shea nut trees, so that beyond just the ones we find in the wild, we also deliberately, domesticate, the shea.
3 local governments were targeted in each of the participating states. From Minna, Niger State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, the federal government's policy on ease of doing business is working. The latest destination is Nasarawa State, where Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments, Adeni Adebayo, led a team of investors to the state. Aliyu Tijani Mohammed reports.
Nasarawa State is a destination for businesses with solid minerals and agriculture in the forefront. The investors are willing to invest in sugarcane and rice production, as well as flour mill. Awe, Doma, Wamba and Toto local government areas have been identified as choice areas for the investment, expected to create jobs and boost the revenue profile of the state. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Adeni Adebayo, says federal government will continue to partner state governments to promote industrialization.
We intend to sit down with them and discuss further to see how we can encourage them to do more. But from what we have seen so far of all the plantations we have been to, we're very, very impressed and we're very happy with the level of work that they're doing.
Governor Abdullahi Sule, who met with the delegation, says government is committed towards providing an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. In Lafia, Aliyu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
Effective sensitization on the dangers of drug and substance abuse, employment, and proper family values remain ways to reduce the menace. These are some of the recommendations of a book titled Listen and Learn, Stop Drug Abuse by a medical practitioner, Dr. Simon Akogo. Elizabeth Omori, who was at the public presentation, reports.
Drug and substance abuse, health caregivers say, is a global phenomenon that needs the urgent attention of all and sundry to bring it to an end. A survey by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that 14.3 million people have abused drugs in the last 1 year due to peer pressure, easy access to the substance, and weaker laws. Worried about the menace, a medical expert who has worked 2 decades with drug addicts, their families and government agencies on the scourge, has documented his wealth of experience on how to prevent and manage it.
We must take this fight to the community and involve the community leaders so that they will become tools for prevention of psychoactive drug abuse.
The 129-page book reveals that injection of psychoactive drugs among the youths is on the increase. As such, hands must be on deck to reduce the practice.
And looking at the foundation point, we are talking about the family, the peer groups, and the student population. Because most habits that people learn are from their home, from the peer groups they meet, either in school or in their activities.
If you are close to the people that are already using this drug, you can be affected. So this is why we move round to campaign. We go to motor park to do the campaign. We go to market women. We move round.
Drug can be stopped. Let's all try and go back home. Talk to our teachers. Talk to the students. Talk to town leaders.
Listen and Learn, Stop Drug Abuse, the author believes provides a multi-sectoral and proactive approach to battle the menace among emotionally disturbed women and youths. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori.
Now, a non-government organization, Initiative Against Addiction and Substance Abuse in Nigeria, has joined the crusade to tackle the menace of drug abuse by youth across the country. An advocacy they organized in Ipape, a suburb of the federal capital city, is the latest in such efforts.
Recent statistical figures have shown that abuse of drugs in Nigeria is very prevalent among the youths, who mostly engage in the act as an energy booster or simply to escape from deeper emotional pains. Reports have it that nearly 15% of the adult population in Nigeria, numbering about 14.3 million people, have abused one form of psychoactive drug substance or the other in the last 1 year, a rate much higher than the 2016 global average of 5.6% among adults. And so, this campaign against the scourge by this group of stakeholders in the health sector is mainly to create awareness on the dangers associated with such.
Drugs can get you on a health risk. You have the risk of vein collapse. You have the risk of the liver and kidney infections, and it reduces your immune system.
You want to go down to the grassroots. If you stay in the main city, at best you can get those who take cocaine. But all these local substances that are being abused now are done from the grassroots.
We're trying to do everything possible to see how the young ones are brought out of the use of this drug, because it's causing a lot of damage to the society.
What more could come from a youth who was once caught in the web of substance abuse, but now out of the web?
It limits our age, our years in life.
When they say drug abuse, you know me saying only Igbo or Tramo, I mean drug abuse. At times, maybe if you even misuse Panadol or paracetamol, if you take an overdose, and still drug abuse.
Stop all the drugs, stop all the shepe, stop all the drugs, stop all the guidelines, stop all the drugs, stop all the police, stop all the drugs.
The collective message being preached here is: say no to drug abuse.
Right, I also say no to drug abuse, and away from drug abuse now, the federal government is stepping up the drive not only to diversify the nation's economy, but also now considers digitization an important additional component. Justin Ben Unyi reports that issues of viability, practicability, and prospect of an ICT-driven economy formed the core of deliberations at the opening of a summit in Abuja, which focuses on leveraging ICT for public service delivery.
I think I like these socks, like this women's sneakers. It's pretty, it's better than that one.
Okay. Whether you're buying or selling, life can literally be made easier at the click of a button.
38.
These days, you can sit in the comfort of your home to make bookings for transport or maybe order for food, groceries or clothing to be delivered right at your doorstep just by clicking some buttons on that same phone in your palms. If and when you do that, then you are already in the digital economy. Business and ICT experts believe there are widely untapped opportunities for Nigerians to explore for gainful ventures, especially the youth. The government is hoping that by facilitating an ICT-enabled environment, young creative minds can apply themselves to building positive skills and seeking solutions to some of Nigeria's development challenges.
ICT is a very important transformational tool in all our endeavors, in all our various departments.
So this is an opportunity for our youth to use their talents to come up with innovative ideas and create jobs. We are living in a world, in an exciting world of technological advancement.
There is more being done. The Nigerian Information Technology Professionals in Civil and Public Service as a body thinks it is time for Nigerians to embrace applications and information and communications technology now that the economy is edging towards a digitalization.
You should train you train your ICT staff, because ICT is dynamic.
To make sure that for service delivery at all levels of government, local, state, federal, the use of information technology is sacrosanct.
We are not there yet. We are trying, but we are not there. We still want to do more.
These professionals in the ICT industry are advocating an all-inclusive awareness on the new direction of the economy and strongly hope that the public catches on. Justin Ben Unyi, NTA News.
Nigeria has joined the League of Nations with commitment to attain the 90-90-90 target of ensuring 90% of Nigerians have tested for HIV, 90% on treatment, 90% of those on treatment have reached suppressed stage towards ending HIV/AIDS come 2030. To achieve these targets, network of people living with HIV and AIDS advocates patient community inclusiveness in various interventions by the federal government. Basse Itaipen reports.
She is 17 years old and she has been taking antiretroviral drugs for 17 years. This simply means she was infected at birth. Though she lives a normal life, she explains to me that her greatest fear is dying not because of the sickness, but because of stigmatization.
Our love for each other is strong, is like giving us hope to live. If we are being stigmatized, we will not see any reason to live again.
My little friend is not the only person with the fear of stigmatization. He has also lived with the virus for 15 years.
But what I'm urging the communities and the society at large is that we should stop discriminating HIV people, because HIV at this level we are is no longer a death sentence.
The good news here is that both are now advocates in the fight against HIV and AIDS, sensitizing the people on the need to show people living with HIV love and care, which is the essence of this year's Candlelight Memorial.
We want to call everyone to find hard to accept people living with HIV.
And it's just a way to give them a sense of belonging.
that they are like every other person out there. They are like you and I that are not affected.
Various development and donor partners supported the need to change the narrative in the fight against HIV and AIDS to involving the patient's community. Basi Taikbang, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. More reports just ahead in the news. Still.
NTAI has gone mobile. Catch your favorite programs anywhere in the world by going to Play Store on Android and App Store on iOS. Search for Vision TV UK, download and install. Then you're good to go.
Thanks a lot for staying tuned into the news on NTA International. Countries with deliberate policies that involves engineers at every stage of development process tends to attain growth faster than others. This is the view of Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, who delivered a lecture titled Engineers in Politics, a Panacea for Accelerated Development in Abuja. Kelvin Ehonwaye reports.
This hall is full of engineers who converge for the 13th Fellowship Lecture Series of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. The contributions of engineers to national development is not in doubt. So, being part of policy making, observers say, will afford Nigeria the opportunity to tap more from the creative and innovative minds of our engineers. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, himself an engineer, is asking his professional colleagues not to sit on the fence, but get involved more in politics.
We need to move Nigeria away from potential to achieving real results. And there's no better group to make this possible than engineers.
For the president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Adekunle Mokolu, regular conversations on professional and national issues such as this is one way of evaluating the place of the professionals in nation building. In Abuja, Kelvin Ehonwaye, NTA News.
Now, in commemorating the Yuletide, Christian Fellowship of Media Practitioners put up a carol with emphasis on making the grace in the birth of Christ profitable to all. Onengie Fineface reports.
Songs reflecting the season of Christmas, commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ, whose ministry is seen as redemptive to reconcile mankind to God. It's a carol put together to reflect on the importance of the birth of Christ and the duty of Christians in upholding the virtues of godliness, especially in celebrating his birth.
And what you and I have experienced, we have gotten, the salvation we are celebrating, Jesus we are celebrating, is nothing but grace.
For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given.
Lessons from the Bible tracing the birth and ministry of Christ reminded Christians of the significance of the season.
The only place you can get assurance, the only place that your blessing is sure is in the house of the Lord.
In Abuja, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
Now, the European Union is partnering Nigeria to tackle the problem of drought and poverty among rural farming communities in Kebbi and Adamawa states. Musa Babaliu has that report.
This farming community is in Danko-Wasagu local government area of Kebbi State, located 200 kilometers from Birnin Kebbi, the state capital. It is a quiet evening, providing conducive atmosphere for the children and adults to engage on what they know how to do best. While the children are at the playing ground, the parents are in the farm harvesting farm produce. This group of farmers are beneficiaries of EU Oxfam Agriculture Extension Program. They harvest more than 10 bags of 70 kilograms of maize against the 4 to 5 bags they get annually.
They are not doing spacing, and they don't maybe apply fertilizer 2 times in a plot.
Hali Aliyu is a sorghum farmer in Wasagu. He was supported with fertilizer and extension service to expand his farm.
For the last 3 years, I'm harvesting this for not almost to 12 sacks or 10. But now, for last year, I harvest more than 20.
The women in Jega, Birnin Kebbi and Wasagu were grouped into associations, which they were trained in financial literacy, nutritional program and marketing. 70-year-old Saida Todamu is a member of one of the associations in Wasagu. A widow with no child or grandchild says the EU project has been a great helping hand. I saved 13,000 naira last year, and this year I'm hoping to start rearing goats, she says. Also incorporated in the project, planting to protect farming areas against desert encroachment.
We planted over 600 trees in Government Girls Secondary School, Wasagu, in order to fight against this climate change.
5,000 trees have been planted in 3 local government areas of Kebbi State. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
On a foreign scene, tens of thousands of people have taken to the streets of the Algerian capital, Algiers, in protest of results of Thursday's presidential election. The protesters chanted slogans against the winner, Abdelmajid Tebboune, a former loyalist of ousted Abdelaziz Bouteflika. Protesters are demanding that the whole political establishment be swept away. Polling day itself was marred by protest and calls for people to boycott the election. Elsewhere, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is to visit the north of England hours after celebrating his party's biggest election victory for 30 years by sweeping aside Labour in 8 traditional heartlands. The Prime Minister has said he hopes the Conservatives' victory will bring closure to the Brexit debates and let the healing begin. He won a Commons majority of 80, his party's largest since 1987. And now, in sport, Nigerian athletes proved their mettle at the inaugural ECOWAS Abuja International Marathon Saturday, despite a show of class by Kenyans. Ayodeji Makinde has that package.
About 300 marathoners converged on Asukuru district to make history at the inaugural ECOWAS Abuja International Marathon with the theme Run for Unity and Integration. The 21.09-kilometer race took the long-distance runners through the Federal Civil Service Secretariat, Maitama and Wuse districts, Wuye through Gariki Area 1 before the gantry at the Old Parade Ground. Kenya's John Moore breasted the tape in 1 hour, 4 minutes, 2.79 seconds ahead of Ethiopia's Mocha Adani Nega, while Nigeria's Emmanuel Gyang powered home in 1 hour, 4 minutes, 32.15 seconds for a third-place finish.
Because it's not an easy task, but I work for it. And if you can see this one, the time is better.
In the women's category, Karen Cheptuek of Kenya won in a time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, 32.45 seconds as Nigeria's Deborah Pam came in second in 1 hour, 17 minutes, 15.86 seconds, and Fadekemi Olude claimed the third spot.
I did not know that I'm going to win because we are 2 Ethiopian also. They have Nigeria strong lady here.
Top echelon of ECOWAS and federal government functionaries present believe that the maiden championship will serve as springboard for discovery of new breed marathoners in Nigeria.
We think it's commendable, we think it's an achievement, but it only sets a stage for us to do more to do even better in subsequent editions.
We want to produce athletes that will be making world records like Kenya and Ethiopia and some other countries.
For Nigeria's Emmanuel Gyang and Deborah Pam, both married, there's already a huge anticipation for the 2020 edition. In Abuja, I'm Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has described the legacies of the late former secretary to the government of a federation, Ufot Ekaite, as pride to the nation. President Muhammadu Buhari, in a message delivered by the secretary to the government of a federation, Boss Mustafa, at late Ekaite's funeral in Ikot Edo, Akwa Ibom State, says the nation has been deprived of a selfless public servant by his passing away. Correspondent Mitari Ikwen reports that the SGF boss Mustafa led a high-powered government delegation comprising the ministers of Niger Delta and Women Affairs and former SGF Yayale Hamid to the event, which was also attended by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Governor Udom Emmanuel, and hosts of other dignitaries. And that concludes the news on NTA International this hour. Thanks a lot for watching it. Join us again at 9 p.m. for Weekend File. I'm Musbat and Wahab. Good evening.